Hello guys, my name is Nikander. I'm a professional blockchain developer, and in this guide I'm going to show you how to create a Hamster Kombat Telegram mini app clone. This app can be launched directly in the Telegram app, allowing users to earn points by clicking on the Hamster card or by using an auto points earning system that awards a certain number of points per hour. Let's get started. I've prepared a GitHub repository called Hamster Kombat Telegram Mini App Clone. There are two branches, initial setup and final version. The initial setup branch contains an empty Vite project with the icons and images we'll use during the project creation. The final version branch is the ready-to-use visual clone of the Hamster Kombat app. We will be using the initial setup branch to create this project from scratch. Open VS Code, clone the repository, navigate to the project directory, switch to the initial setup branch, and install dependencies. Now we have the basic Vite project with some useful icons and images that we will be using during the project creation. Open the app.tsx file. As you can see, we have the initial Vite script. Let's run it. npm run dev. Copy the link and open it in your browser. We have just the usual Vite counter app. Let's change the orientation to a mobile device so we can better understand how our app will look as a Telegram mini app. Right-click on the page and select Inspect. Change the orientation from desktop to mobile. I'll use the iPhone 12 Pro template and set the zoom to 75%. Let's position the browser and VS Code side by side so we can see the changes we make immediately. Open the files app.tsx, app.css, and index.css. Clear everything in the app.tsx file and in the app.css file. Define a div element with several Tailwind CSS classes. bg_black sets the background color to black. Flex enables flexbox layout for the div. Justify center centers the child elements horizontally within the div. Define a div element. wfull sets the width to 100% of the parent element. bg_black sets the background color to black. Text white sets the text color to white. hscreen sets the height to 100% of the viewport height. Font bold makes the text bold. Flex enables flexbox layout for the div. Flex call arranges the child elements in a vertical column. Max wxl sets the maximum width to 36 rem. Define a div element. px4 adds horizontal padding of 1 rem on both sides. z10 sets the z index to 10, ensuring this element is layered above elements with a lower z index. Define a div element. Flex enables flexbox layout for the div. Items center vertically centers the child elements within the div. Space x2 adds horizontal space of 0.5 rem between child elements. pt4 adds top padding of 1 rem. Inside this div we have two child div elements. The first div has p1, adds padding of 0.25 rem on all sides. Rounded LG applies large rounded corners to the element. BG sets the background color to a specific dark shade. Inside this div, we include a hamster icon component with a size of 24 pixels and a text color of a specific light shade. The second div contains a p element with text sm, sets the text size to small. The p element displays the text Nikander CEO. Define a div element. Flex enables flexbox layout for the div. Items center vertically centers the child elements within the div. Justify between distributes space between the child elements, pushing them to opposite ends of the div. Space x4 adds horizontal space of 1 rem between child elements. mt1 adds a top margin of 0.25 rem. Define a div element. Flex enables flexbox layout for the div. Items center vertically centers the child elements within the div. w1/3 sets the width of the div to 1/3 of the parent container. Define a div. wfull sets the width of the div to 100% of the parent container. Define a constant array named level names that contains a list of level names in ascending order of achievement. Define a state variable named level index with an initial value of 6 using the useState hook. The level index variable holds the current level index of the user. Define a div element. Flex enables flexbox layout for the div. Justify between distributes space between the child elements, pushing them to opposite ends of the div. Inside this div, we have two p elements. The first p element has text sm, sets the text size to small. It displays the current level name from the level names array using the level index state variable. The second p element has text sm, sets the text size to small. It displays the current level index incremented by 1 to be user-friendly and the total number of levels. Inside this p element, a span element sets the text color to a specific gray shade, displaying the total number of levels. Define a constant array named level min points that contains the minimum points required to achieve each level. Define a state variable named points with an initial value of 22 million using the useState hook. The points variable holds the current number of points the user has accumulated, and the setPoints function is used to update this value. Define a function named calculateProgress that calculates the user's progress towards the next level. First, we check if the user is at the highest level. If level index is greater than or equal to the index of the last level, the function returns 100, indicating that the user has reached or surpassed the highest level. Second, calculate the progress towards the next level. Current level min holds the minimum points required for the current level. Next level min holds the minimum points required for the next level. The progress is calculated by subtracting current level min from points, dividing by the difference between next level min and current level min, and multiplying by 100 to get a percentage. Third, ensure the progress does not exceed 100%. The function returns the minimum value between the calculated progress and 100 to ensure the progress does not exceed 100%. Inside the index.css file, define a CSS rule for the body element, font family sans serif, sets the font family of the entire document to a sans serif font. Inside the app.css, define a CSS class named progress gradient. Background linear gradient sets a linear gradient background that transitions from light green to light purple to dark purple, going from left to right. In the app.tsx file, define a div element. Flex enables flexbox layout for the div. Items center vertically centers the child elements within the div. MT1 adds a top margin of 0.25 rem. Border 2 adds a 2-pixel border around the div. Border hash 43433b sets the border color to a specific dark shade. Rounded full applies fully rounded corners to the div. Inside this div, we have another div element. wfull sets the width to 100% of the parent container. h2 sets the height to 0.5 rem. bg hash 43433b /06 sets the background color to a specific dark shade with 60% opacity. Rounded full applies fully rounded corners to the div. Inside this div, we have a third div element. Progress gradient applies the progress gradient CSS class. h2 sets the height to 0.5 rem. Rounded full applies fully rounded corners to the div. Style sets the width dynamically based on the calculate progress function's return value, representing the user's progress towards the next level. Define a div element. Flex enables flexbox layout for the div. Items center vertically centers the child elements within the div. w2/3 sets the width to 2/3 of the parent container. Border 2 adds a 2-pixel border around the div. Border hash 43433b sets the border color to a specific dark shade. Rounded full applies fully rounded corners to the div. px4 adds horizontal padding of 1 rem on both sides. py2px adds vertical padding of 2 pixels on both sides. bg hash 43433b /0.6 sets the background color to a specific dark shade with 60% opacity. Max w64 sets the maximum width to 16 rem. Define an img element with several attributes. src equals Binance logo sets the source of the image to the Binance logo variable. Alt equals exchange provides alternative text for the image. Class name equals w8 h8 sets the width and height of the image to 2 rem. Define a div element. Flex1 allows the div to grow and take up the available space within its flex container. Text center centers the text horizontally within the div. Define a constant named profit per hour and set its value to some random number. This constant represents the number of points the user earns per hour in the app. Define a function named format profit per hour that formats a numeric profit value into a more readable string representation with appropriate units. If the profit is greater than or equal to 1 billion, it divides the profit by 1 billion and appends b for billions. If the profit is greater than or equal to 1 million, it divides the profit by 1 million and appends m for millions, and etc. This function converts large profit values into a more readable format with appropriate units: b for billions, m for millions, k for thousands. Define a p element and a div element with several Tailwind CSS classes. For p element, text XS sets the text size to extra small, text #85827D sets the text color to a specific gray shade, font medium sets the font weight to medium. Contains the text profit per hour. For div element, flex enables flex box layout for the div. Items center vertically centers the child elements within the div. Justify center horizontally centers the child elements within the div. Space x1 adds horizontal space of 0.25 rem between child elements. Inside this div, we have img, p, info component. For img, src equals $coin sets the source of the image to the $coin variable. Alt equals $coin provides alternative text for the image. Class name equals w18px, h18px sets the width and height of the image to 18 pixels. For p element, class name equals text sm sets the text size to small. Contains the result of the format profit per hour function, which formats the profit per hour. For info component, size equals 20 sets the size of the info component to 20 pixels. Class name equals text #43433b sets the text color of the info component to a specific dark shade. Add the settings component with the text white class, which sets the color of the settings icon to white. Go to app.css file, define a CSS class named TopGlow. Box shadow applies a box shadow to the top of the element with an offset of -26 pixels vertically, a blur radius of 20 pixels, and a color of a semi-transparent yellow. This class creates a glowing effect at the top of the element. Go back to app.tsx file, define a div element. Flex grow allows the div to grow and take up the available space within its flex container. mt4 adds a margin top of 1 rem. bg #f3ba2f sets the background color to a specific shade of yellow. Rounded t48px rounds the top corners of the div with a radius of 48 pixels. Relative positions the div relative to its normal position. TopGlow applies the TopGlow CSS class, which adds a glowing effect at the top. Z0 sets the Z index to 0, placing the div at the base staking level. Define a div element. Absolute positions the div absolutely within its containing element. Top2px sets the top position to 2 pixels from the top of the containing element. Left 0, right 0, bottom 0 sets the left, right and bottom positions to 0, stretching the div to fill the containing element horizontally and extend to the bottom. bg-1d2025 sets the background color to a specific dark shade. Rounded T46px rounds the top corners of the div with a radius of 46 pixels. Define a div element. px4 adds padding of 1 rem on the left and right sides. mt6 adds a margin top of 1.5 rem. Flex applies flexbox layout to the div. Justify between distributes space between child elements, placing them at the start and end of the container. Gap2 adds a gap of 0.5 rem between child elements. Go to app.css file, define a CSS class named dot that creates a small white dot that blinks on and off continuously. The dot class contains the following attributes: width 6px and height 6px, sets the dimensions of the element to 6 pixels by 6 pixels. Background color white sets the background color to white. Border radius 50% makes the element a circle. Position absolute positions the element absolutely within its containing element. Top 10px and right 10px positions the element 10 pixels from the top and right edges of the containing element. Animation blink 1s infinite applies the blink animation to the element, making it blink with a 1 second cycle that repeats infinitely. Go back to app.tsx file, define 3 state variables using the useState hook to track the remaining time for daily events: daily reward time left, daily cipher time left, daily combo time left. Each state variable is initialized with an empty string. Define the calculate time left function to compute the remaining time until a specified target hour in UTC. First we get current and target times. Now gets the current date and time. Target is set to the current date and time, then adjusted to the target hour. Adjust target date if needed. If the current hour is past the target hour, the target date is incremented by 1 day. Then we calculate time difference. Diff is the difference in milliseconds between the target and current times. Hours and minutes are calculated from the time difference. Then we format hours and minutes. Padded hours and padded minutes ensure 2-digit formatting. Then we return time string. The function returns the remaining time as a formatted string. Use the useEffect hook to update countdowns for daily events. First we define the update countdowns function. This function updates the daily reward time left, daily cipher time left, and daily combo time left state variables using calculate time left for different target hours. Then initial update. We immediately call update countdowns to set the initial countdowns when the component mounts. Set up an interval. We set up an interval to call update countdowns every minute to keep the countdowns updated. And clean up the interval. We return a cleanup function to clear the interval when the component unmounts, preventing memory leaks. Define a div element. bg-272a2f sets the background color to a dark grayish blue. Rounded LG applies large rounded corners to the div. px4 adds padding of 1 rem on the left and right sides. py2 adds padding of 0.5 rem on the top and bottom. W full sets the width to 100%. Relative sets the positioning to relative. Inside this div, we define another div element with the dot class to display a blinking dot. Next, we add an img tag to display the daily reward image. MX Auto centers the image horizontally within its container. W12 sets the width of the image to 3 rem. H12 sets the height of the image to 3 rem. Below the image, we add a p element to display the label daily reward with several Tailwind CSS classes. Text 10px sets the font size to 10 pixels. Text center centers the text horizontally. Text white sets the text color to white. MT1 adds a margin top of 0.25 rem. Finally, we add another p element to display the daily reward time left value. Text 10px sets the font size to 10 pixels. Font medium sets the font weight to medium. Text center centers the text horizontally. Text gray 400 sets the text color to light gray. MT2 adds a margin top of 0.5 rem. The same way, we add daily cipher and daily combo elements. Define a div element. px4 adds padding of 1 rem on the left and right sides. mt4 adds a margin top of 1 rem. Flex applies flexbox layout to the div. Justify center centers the child element horizontally within the container. Inside this div, we define another div element. px4 adds padding of 1 rem on the left and right sides. py2 adds padding of 0.5 rem on the top and bottom. Flex applies flexbox layout to the div. Items center aligns the child elements vertically in the center. Space x2 adds a horizontal space of 0.5 rem between child elements. Next, we add an img tag to display the $coin image. src equals $coin sets the source of the image to the $coin variable. Alt equals $coin provides alternative text for the image. Class name equals w10. h10 sets the width and height of the image to 2.5 rem. Below the image, we add a p element to display the points value. Text for Excel sets the font size to 2.25 rem. Text white sets the text color to white. Points dot to local string displays the points state variable formatted as a localized string. Initialize a state variable called clicks using the useState hook. This state holds an array of objects, each representing a click event with properties id, x, and y to track the click's position and unique identifier. We also define a constant points to add with the value 11, representing the number of points added per click. Define a function called handleCardClick that is triggered when the card is clicked. Here's what the function does step by step. First, we get the clicked card and its dimensions. Second, calculate the click position. Third, apply a 3D transform to the card. Fourth, update points and clicks state. Go to app.css file, define a CSS class called circleOuter. Background linear gradient sets a linear gradient background that transitions from a purple color to a dark purple-gray color from top to bottom. Display flex applies flexbox layout to the element. Align items center vertically centers the child elements within the flexbox container. Justify content center horizontally centers the child elements within the flexbox container. Width 90 VW sets the width to 90% of the viewport width. Height 90 VW sets the height to 90% of the viewport width, making the element a square. Max width 360 px limits the maximum width to 360 pixels. Max height 360 px limits the maximum height to 360 pixels, maintaining the square shape. Define a CSS class called CircleInner. Background radial gradient sets a radial gradient background that transitions from a purple color in the center to a dark purple-gray color at the edges. Display flex applies flexbox layout to the element. Align items center vertically centers the child elements within the flexbox container. Justify content center horizontally centers the child elements within the flexbox container. Box shadow adds a slight shadow below the element, creating a subtle 3D effect. Go back to app.tsx, define a div element. px4 adds padding of 1 rem on the left and right sides. mt4 adds a margin top of 1 rem. Flex applies flexbox layout to the div. Justify center horizontally centers the child element within the container. Inside this div, we define another div. w80 sets the width to 20 rem. h80 sets the height to 20 rem. p4 adds padding of 1 rem on all sides. Rounded full applies full rounding to create a circular shape. Circle outer applies custom styles defined in the circle outer CSS class. OnClick equals handle card click attaches an event handler to the div to handle click events. Inside the circular div, we define another div. wfull sets the width to 100%. hfull sets the height to 100%. Rounded full applies full rounding to create a circular shape. CircleInner applies custom styles defined in the CircleInner CSS class. Finally, we include an img element inside the inner circular div. src equals main character sets the source of the image to main character. Alt equals main character provides an alternative text for the image. Class name equals wfull. hfull sets the width and height of the image to 100% of its container. Define a div element. Fixed fixes the element to the specified position relative to the viewport. Bottom 0 positions the element at the bottom of the viewport. Left 1/2 positions the element at the horizontal center of the viewport. Transform minus translate x1/2 translates the element to the left by 50% of its width to center it. wcalc 100% minus 2 rem sets the width to full viewport width minus 2 rem. Max wxl sets the maximum width to 36 rem. bg hash 272a2f sets the background color to a dark gray. Flex applies flexbox layout to the div. Justify around distributes space around the child elements, placing them evenly within the container. items center vertically centers the child element within the container. Z50 sets the Z index to 50, making sure the element appears above other content. Rounded 3XL applies extra large rounded corners to the div. Text XS sets the font size to extra small. Define a div element. Text center centers the text horizontally. Text hash 85827D sets the text color to a grayish shade. W1/5 sets the width to 1/5 of the parent container. BG hash 1C 1F24 sets the background color to a very dark gray. M1 adds a margin of 0.25 rem on all sides. P2 adds padding of 0.5 rem on all sides. Rounded 2XL applies extra large rounded corners to the div. Inside this div, we define an img tag and a p tag. The img tag displays the Binance logo image with the following classes. W8 sets the width of the image to 2 rem. H8 sets the height of the image to 2 rem. MX auto centers the image horizontally within its container. The p tag displays the text exchange with the following classes. MT1 adds a margin top of 0.25 rem. The same way, but without dark background, we add the elements mine, friends, earn, and airdrop. Go to app.css, define a CSS keyframe animation named float with 2 stages. At 0%, the beginning of the animation, opacity is 1, the element is fully opaque. Transform translate y0, the element is in its original vertical position. At 100%, the end of the animation, opacity is 0, the element becomes fully transparent. Transform translate y minus 50 pixels, the element moves 50 pixels upwards. Go back to app.tsx, define a function handle animation end that performs the following actions: takes an ID parameter of type number, updates the state variable clicks by filtering out the click object with the matching ID. This ensures that the click animation is removed from the state once it has finished. Iterate over the clicks array using the map function to dynamically generate a set of div elements. Each div represents a click animation and is configured as follows. Key equals click.id provides a unique key for each element, which helps React identify which items have changed, are added, or are removed. Absolute positions the element absolutely relative to its nearest positioned ancestor. Text 5XL sets the font size to extra large. Font bold makes the font bold. Opacity 0 sets the initial opacity to 0. Text white sets the text color to white. Pointer events none disables mouse interactions with the element. Style dynamically sets the position and animation style. Top positions the element vertically based on the y coordinate of the click event minus 42 pixels. Left positions the element horizontally based on the x coordinate of the click event minus 28 pixels. Animation applies a CSS animation called float that lasts 1 second and eases out. On animation end, attaches an event handler to the animation end event which calls the handle animation end function with the click ID when the animation ends. Point to add displays the number of points added for each click inside the div. Our app is almost ready. As you can see, we can click on Hamster and earn points. This looks beautiful. Let's add some final use effect hooks. Set up a use effect hook to handle the automatic addition of points per second based on the profit per hour value. Here's what happens step by step. First, we calculate the number of points to add per second by dividing profit per hour by 3600 and rounding down using math.floor. Set up an interval that runs every 1 second using setInterval. Inside the interval's callback function, we call setPoints to update the points state. We use the function form of setPoints to access the previous state, pref_points, and add points per second to it. The useEffect hook returns a cleanup function that clears the interval when the component is unmounted or when profit per hour changes. This is done using clearInterval. The dependency array profit per hour ensures that the useEffect runs initially and whenever the profit per hour value changes. Set up a useEffect hook to handle the level progression logic based on the current points. First, we retrieve the minimum points required for the current level. We also retrieve the minimum points required for the next level. If the current points are greater than or equal to the points required for the next level, and the current level index is less than the maximum level index, we increase the level index by 1, effectively leveling up. If the current points are less than the minimum points required for the current level and the current level index is greater than 0, we decrease the level index by 1, effectively leveling down. The useEffect hook runs whenever points, level index, level min points, or level names.length change. This ensures the level is recalculated whenever any of these values are updated. Our app is ready, it looks beautiful, points are automatically increasing according to the profit per hour value. We can also click on the hamster and earn points. We have beautiful animations. Right now it looks exactly like the Hamster Kombat Telegram mini app. Let's do the final touch and change the title in index.html to Hamster Kombat clone. We can upload the final project to GitHub and deploy the web app to the internet using the Vercel service. Open thevercel.com, log in with your GitHub, click Add New Project, click Import next to the desired GitHub repository. Within seconds, our app will be deployed to the internet. We can check our deployed apps in the profile. Click on the link to open the live web app. Hamster Kombat clone looks amazing on different screen sizes, both in browsers and on mobile devices. It's simply beautiful. We can click on the card and earn points. The spawn animation is amazing. Let's create a Telegram mini app. Copy the link. Open the Telegram bot Botfather. New bot. Let's call it Hamster Kombat Clone Bot. The username Hamster Kombat Clone Bot. Now click the command New App. Select the Hamster Kombat Clone Bot. Give it a title Hamster Kombat Clone. The same for description. Upload an image. Skip the GIF step. paste the link to our app. Let's give it a short name like Hamster Kombat Clone App. Our Telegram mini app is ready, we can launch it. Our app is too tall for this small window opened in the desktop version. It's very easy to fix. Anyway, the Hamster Kombat Clicker app is meant to be played on smartphone devices. Our Hamster Kombat Clone Telegram mini app looks beautiful when launched as a mini app in Telegram on a smartphone device. Amazing! In the next videos, I'm going to show you how to work with backend functions related to Telegram mini app clicker games. I will discuss how to verify the clicks to prevent cheating, how to save results to a database, to airdrop the right amount of tokens, and more. That's it for today, folks. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. See you in the next video.